Welcome to Wild West Garage. My name is Morgan, and this is a door off of a 1976 crew cab. It's one of the rear doors, and in my last video I repaired the other door, and I made at least one mistake. Well, I probably made a few mistakes, but one that really bothered me, and I wanted to avoid making that mistake again. So I've come up with a new approach to solving that problem. And so, like Gene Winfield says, every day is a school day. And so I learned some things on the last door repair. I'm in the midst of learning things on this door repair. It's going very well. I did make a few mistakes, and I'll talk about that when I show you this up close. But I've remedied those problems already. And anyways, let's get into it. So now that we're here at this point, and you'll be able to see this. I started out, I cut the bottom of this inner structure off, and then I was just going to put a little piece in here. But once I got the door skin cut off, I realized this is all full of pits here. And it was just easier to cut this right off, make a new piece for in here, and that's where we're at now. But on this side, I cut quite a bit of the corner off. I should have gone deeper like I did on the last door. But actually this went a lot quicker this time because I didn't have so much shaping to do. And then once I got this flipped over again, like the other side, I noticed in this area right here where it's shiny, there were some pits, and it was actually perforated. So rather than cut that out, I just welded over the pits and, joined this all back together with weld. It worked out really well. There's no pitting. There was another pit right there. Filled that in. So, once I get the back side, or I guess it's the inside. This is the back side. Cleaned up. That'll all be good. So, and then I just wanted to show you this quickly. So you see that? That's I guess it's a drain, the bottom of the door. Well, it's supposed to look like, where is it? That. So what I did was I just welded the strip in halfway through, as you can see here. And then I took a die grinder, and instead of trying to make this shape in the repair piece, I just thought it was easier to go straight through, do the welding, come in with a die grinder, and open this up. So that's what I did on that one there, and it worked out really well. So now I'm going to show you what I did. I'll talk about what I did last time. So here's the outer skin piece, and on the other door I just made this bend 90 degrees, and then because I wanted this to fit nicely to I wanted the repair panel to fit nicely to this curve here, I took my shrinker and I shrunk that 90, like the flange, I shrunk it, and it made this curve. But the problem with that was when I went to form, completely form this flange to fold it over, because this piece was curved, it was fine down here, it straightened out. But up here, because there was nothing holding it at the end, it turned in, and it ended up being too short here. So this part was sticking out, and this was inboard about, I'm going to say 1/8 of an inch right at the end here. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about here. You see it, it's inside there. Same thing happened on this side. You see how it kind of turned here? And I think that is because I shrunk this flange a little bit so the panel would curve still. And so when it folded over, because there's not a lot of strength on the end here, it just pulled this in. So as you can see, what I've done this time is I took and folded this right over, and so I just slid a piece of 18 gauge metal, a strip I had, folded it right down on top of it, like crimped it down onto it, and then now I can just take this and slide it on the inner structure. It just slides on, and it takes a bit of takes a little bit of persuasion to get it up on there, but there you go, and it's nice and flush here now. It's not sticking out or recessed. Same on this side. So I actually have to pull this off again, but anyways, I just wanted to show you that. And I just want to show you this again. So this is just a piece of baseboard. You know, it's a stick, right? Wooden stick, and then just a little block of wood here. And so the last time I did this on the other door, I just stuck this in the door and it was just friction fitted together. But when I started working on welding the outer skin, you know, just tapping on it and ever knocking it around a bit, this moved out, and it moved right up underneath where the weld seam was. Didn't cause any problems, but so I thought this time I'd secure it in there. So I just made this little tab, a couple of screws, as you can see, and then this this is actually a piece that's bent 90 degrees, and so this didn't fit quite right in this door. So by putting this in here and then pushing it that way a little bit, it cranked this up. You can see there's quite a big gap there, and so that made it fit in the door tight, and it pushed this up. So the reason I'm putting this in here is because I want it to support this. I talked about this in the other video. It's kind of like a strong back. It's keeping this from caving in on me when I weld it, supporting it. Can't move. It can't move around. I don't think it's going to come out. I'm worried that it's going to move down. And I've also got this, I took one of the screws out that hold this inner panel, like one of these screws, right here, and I put a wood screw into that to hold it. So this can't move around now. It might be able to twist in there a little bit, but I don't think it's going to. It's kind of right up in this fold here, so I don't think it's going to go anywhere. So anyways, that's a big help. This is an improvement over last time. That's what this video is about, making improvements on this process. So anyways, so now I got to get into cleaning this up. I got to finish cleaning that out. I'm going to spray this with some zinc coating, and then I'll get to the welding, and I'm going to weld this differently this time. Kind of an experiment for me again. I'm going to try just tacking it on every inch, and then I'm going to weld it from one end to the other just like that without stopping, and see what happens. Okay, so this turned out pretty good in the end. I had quite a few problems with it, and I was kind of, well, in some ways I was surprised, in some ways I wasn't, because I took a very different approach as far as the welding went on this door compared to the first one. And one of the biggest mistakes I made was trying to TIG weld it. I don't have a lot of experience with TIG welding, and I should have known better to try and practice on a project. But I did some, I had been doing some TIG welding on some other stuff, and I did a little bit on the inner structure of this, and I thought I was doing pretty good. So I got to about here, and I realized, no, I gotta stop, because my weld was very inconsistent. I'd burned through in a couple of spots, and it was just a big wavy mess. So I carried on from here to here with the MIG welder, which went in really nicely. And another part of the problem was that prop thing that I put in there, stick. I didn't have it really set up properly. I had it in there, but I didn't have this pushed up enough. And I fitted the patch to that setting, And then when I showed you and I had that shim in there, I had pushed it up a bit more, and then the door skin patch wasn't meeting in the middle. There was a big gap, and so I had to take that shim out and let it come down so that it would meet. And then once I got it all welded and the weld shrunk, it just caved this right in probably about an eighth, just a bit more than an eighth of an inch all the way across here. And so I had another problem over here where the piece of the door skin here was quite thin. I don't know why it was so thin, but I was trying to, and it was high here, right? So I thought the easiest way to kind of remedy a lot of this would be just to knock this down a little bit on the ends, because it seemed like it was flaring up. So I I cut a pie shape out of this on both sides, welded that shrunk that up a bit and brought it down, and then it was about a 1/16 of an inch away all the way across. And then I did a bunch of hammer and dolly work along here. And so if you've got a panel that's got a bit of a crown to it and you start hammering on it, it seems counterintuitive, but if like you're hammering in this direction, with a dolly underneath, right? So this has a curve to it, and so you're hammering this way in this direction. Most people would think that this is going to drive this panel down, but because it's already got some crown to it, as the metal expands, it just has to move up. It's not like I'm driving it. I'm driving it against this. I'm hitting it pretty hard. And like I said, as it expands, as that sheet metal expands with each hammer blow, it just keeps coming up. So that worked out really well. I got this reasonably straight. I'm gonna probably do a little bit more work on it. There's a few little low spots that I can feel here. I can't get into this area here because there's the inner structure kicks back too far and I can't access that from underneath. So I'm just gonna have to live with this. It's only about a 1/16 of an inch or less low along and just in this area here, so I'm gonna just leave that alone. But overall, in the end, I was actually I'd actually considered cutting this all off again and starting over. That's how bad it was. But spent, I don't know, probably as much time as it would have taken to cut it off and start over again. But I learned some things, right? Or I reinforced some of my my previous knowledge on how to, and I like a challenge, so I actually enjoyed fixing this. So, anyways. So there it is. I did mess around with it a bit more. And the only thing I'm not happy about is right there. There's a bit of an offset, so this part is higher than this part for about an inch there. And there's a little tiny bit of it there too, but I can't get up in this area to work it too much. I've got some PDR tools. Got this thing, I can sort of get up in there, but I can't get enough force on it to really do much. But overall, I mean, it's straight, a little bit of spot putty or even high build primer is going to take care of any imperfections in this repair. So I'm happy with it from a body man standpoint. It's good. Yeah, it's ready for the prep shop now. So there you go. I wish I could just leave it at this stage and pass it off to somebody else, but unfortunately I have to do the prep work. It's my least favorite part. This is my favorite part. So there we go. That's how that turned out. A little bit of a offset here, you can see that. So this is higher here than that, over about an inch, and then just a tiny bit right there. But I can't get up into this area and work that out. It's just, I've spent way too much time on it already for what it's worth. But this is my messed up TIG weld here. And we get over on this side, it's much cleaner looking. So anyway, I'll have to work on the TIG welding off of projects. Just do some practice. So anyway, that's that. I'm pretty happy with it as far as how straight it is. Like I said, it had a big dip in it through the middle, but it's nice and straight now. So anyway, thanks for watching. See me next time.